Hello out there, welcome to the final season of Thrones of Game. Now I know what you're thinking, you're like, oh, this is another plug for the Patreon. No, it's not, you are wrong, this is a message from Hodor.
Hey there, it's Christian here, and I am here to give a message to BT and Elliot. Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well. I hope you're having a good day. I see you guys make a Game of Thrones podcast called Thrones of Game. And you guys are about to start on your final season where you review the first season. So I see what you did. Game of Thrones, Thrones of Game. So you're doing it back to front. Mind blowing. No, that's great. That's really cool. I haven't seen that take on it before. So good luck, both BT and Elliot. And I hope the podcast goes really well. Maybe I'll give it a listen sometime. Take care, guys. Good luck with the podcast. All the best. And obviously, Hodor.
Hello out there, you decapitated Sean Bean cameos. Welcome to Thrones of Game, the Game of Thrones podcast where we watch the series backwards. If you've never heard the show before, friend, we're in the last season. Catch up.
Woo!
My name is BT Calloway. I've already seen the entire show. Joining me as always is really the point of this show, Elliot Jay O'Neill, who had never watched a single episode of Game of Thrones until he started watching in reverse order. Elliot, how you doing over there?
I'm pretty chuffed now. I've never been the point of many things.
I know. It's only in that episode I realized when you left the room, and I'm like, fuck, what do I do? Because you are the crux of this show. We just watched Season 1, Episode 10, entitled Fire and Blood. Elliot Jay O'Neill, what just happened?
Man, it's another one of these Ripple episodes. I'm actually kind of surprised. This felt like this should have been the Season 2 opener.
Kind of, but at the same time, I feel like we watched a different show. So many things are different. Subtly and small. And if you're watching week to week, but obviously there was a long gap between seasons. We watch week to week.
Yeah.
But man, things are different. Let's talk about some of those things by listing first off your MVP of this episode.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. Just for everyone playing at home, this is the one where Dan Brady gets her dragons by walking into the fire, and there's a lot of ripple effect of Eddard Stark losing his head.
Yeah. I don't know that I have an MVP. Do you got one chambered?
I am chambered. It was Varys and Littlefinger just having a quick back and forth.
Yeah, I did enjoy that.
Yeah, again, this is one where I don't have a lot of MVP, but I do feel like a lot of this was very good. Like, everyone's, again, pieces are being affected by this huge event, but it's so fresh and it's so a bold thing that have just happened. First of all, Varys has legs, so that whole squid person theory is completely gone, because he clearly, and I think it's the only time you see his feet the entire show.
Sure.
For whatever reason, they've always got him in much longer tunics from this point on. But the man has legs.
I am actually trying to remember now. Have I actually ever seen his hands? Surely I have.
Yeah, he must have picked up fruit to jest or something. But yeah, he very rarely shows his appendages at all. He and Littlefinger have a good back and forth where he's like, are you picturing all yourself up on that throne? And all the people who slighted you bowing to you. He's like, oh, it's a bit hard to bow when they don't have heads.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, and then what about you when you picture yourself up there? And he's like, I actually must be the only man in Westeros who doesn't want to be king. It's like, you'd be the only man in Westeros who isn't really a man. He's like, oh, you can do better.
It's just like, try. Come on, mate. I've heard them all.
Exactly. He's got that exact attitude of, people have been ripping on me my entire life for not having a dick. Can you really think that? Come on.
And yeah, the thing is just so their characters as well. Little Baelish is trying to prod for the information and Varys is just eloquently dancing around it.
I know, he's like, I've been wondering, do they take the pillar and the stones at the same time? It's like, so you've been wondering about what's between my legs.
Yeah.
No, but I imagine it's like a lady's gash. And he's like, well, and then later on he has a great line of fear my gash. Yeah. Which was amazing.
Totally.
So that is not cock talk, but also not vag talk. That's non-talk.
It's a very unique segment.
If I can make a zipper go, what? Then that'll be the sound effect. I can't. But that was probably in a good episode with a lot of good bits. I think that was maybe my favorite, just because Varys is just one of my favorites. In this reverse watch, he's just head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yeah, him and Sir Davos as well, right?
Oh, yeah. Sir Davos can read me a story anytime.
As could Charles Dance. Oh, I wish they were my dads.
I know. Just collectively.
Yeah.
Again, like if Charles Dance told you to like clean your room as a kid, you'd clean it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no question about that.
All right, MVP. Okay, controversial take.
Yep.
Dan Brady, but Jorah Mormont fucking keeps ruining everything that he's in.
Yeah, I gotta say, there's something weird when you put those two together. They're like Shakespearean passions. Everything's a little too verbose, and it really robs the scene of any kind of realness. Like,
and I don't know why she tolerated him in this long, because he fucking undermines her at every turn. I am yours, and I am allegiant to you, but you know what? You're doing some really dumb shit, and I don't think you're very smart. But I am serving you.
I am serving you by telling you you're a stupid little girl.
Yeah, and I'm playing it up because, it's just so tedious the way he actually does it. It's very much in the vein of, Khaleesi, please.
I mean, to be entirely fair, he does know she's about to, like, stand on a funeral pyre. And he doesn't know she's fireproof.
Oh, okay,
At this point,
enough.
she doesn't know she's fireproof. She only thinks she might be fireproof, but she doesn't actually know. As far as I remember this scene working a bit differently. I thought she was basically going for the suicide, and then found out that, wait, I can't burn, and I have dragons now. Something to live for.
Yeah.
But in actuality, it's much more, she's like, I know I'm not going to burn, and when I emerge from the fire, everyone is going to want to follow me.
Yeah.
So, different to the way I remember it happening. But hey, it was, what, 48 years ago this happened? So.
Yeah. But no, Emilia Clarke just absolutely destroyed in all these scenes, and, in moments where she has to, mercy kill her husband because he's, what do they call it? Just
catatonic.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And I found these scenes really powerful and impactful, and like, even though it was a bit sort of airy-fairy with the sorceress and stuff in the dialogue, I thought both of their performances were really, really wonderful. Yeah,
the sorcerer and you'll get a bit more of her, obviously, but she's like very just blunt and factual throughout the whole thing, and it works. It's really good,
but also blunt in an insulting way. It's just, when will he be all right again? Well, when
the sun rises in the west, and when the oceans dry up, and when the mountains blow like leaves, is that enough?
And when
poetry
for
you?
And when you're fireproof,
when pigs fly and you're fireproof,
and dragons exist again.
As if, Oh dear, I do like she has a bit of like she gets tied to the funeral pyre, and she's like, I won't scream. It's like, oh, you're gonna.
I like this as well because rarely in like big, rousing speeches where she's grabbing the audience's attention in these sort of shows, there's a heckler, and I just I'm not gonna scream. Yeah, you will. Shut up.
She's all like, I promise you will follow me and your enemies will die screaming. That's what she pitches in.
Yeah.
She should have just kept doing it.
Yeah.
Like Dan Brady starts rattling off her entire name, which is different, yet still ridiculously long at this point.
She's a dragon's daughter in this one?
Well, again, her house banner is the dragon, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
But yeah, she's got this whole bit. She should have just been in the background just making fart sounds. And it's like, would you stop? It's like, what are you going to do? You're only going to burn me alive. Is it going to get worse somehow? I don't think so.
Just imagining Daenerys turning. Do I go down to where you work and slap the dude's dicks out of your mouth? Fucking hell.
I'm trying to think of a comeback to that comeback, but I got nothing.
Burn.
Fire and blood.
Yeah, so it's a weird MVP in the sense that, Jorah kept pooping all over these scenes, but I thought she was doing quite well. And
they're pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And even just Khal Drogo just being catatonic. He does catatonic well.
Yeah.
And the only little bits of movement he gets is like when he gets death shakes. And even then, it doesn't look like resisting or suddenly being able to move. It feels like the body reacting to being dead.
Yeah, I was wondering if Momoa was actually doing those scenes then, or if they got just a fake body, a real doll.
I mean, he wasn't Momoa yet. He was just some guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know how famous he was at this point, but they were like, you can do your own stunts now. Lie under this pillow.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, it's sort of the things that surprised me about this show is how long it takes for me to get introduced to him, because he was Aquaman now, such a big thing, and it's like, oh, he was only a season 1 character.
Yep.
How long it fucking takes for Bran to get crippled? He is still crippled.
He's still crippled. I was about to say walking around. The opposite of that, mate.
Being carried around.
Yep.
And how little Joffrey is in the show, and even in this episode, I think he was in the appropriate amount.
Yeah.
Just enough for you to not get annoyed at his snotty callousness.
Yeah, we'll talk more about Joffrey in a moment, but for now we have to talk about the nudity.
That was a bit.
This is classic Game of Thrones nudity, where they just kind of throw it in here and there.
Yeah, and bridging on from the Daenerys scene, we've got another scene of power boobs as well.
Yeah, a lot of power nudity as she rises from the ashes totally nude and with the dragons crawling on her. That said, I'm also like, it's a big bonfire, but they can't burn for that long. How long was she just crouched in the ashes waiting for dawn? Or was she taking a nap? It's a bit weird.
Just poured some ashes over her as a blankie to keep warm through the night.
Everyone else is asleep. And she's just like still there. Like, okay, how long were you waiting for Jorah Mormont to approach you so you could have this nice zoom out moment?
Yeah. Just, I can't wait. He's waking up now.
Oh, it's not Jorah. Shit.
Dragons into positions. You. Hide my crotch.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's going to be hard to stand while hiding crotch from camera, but she managed. That's acting.
Felt bad for the yellow dragon, though, because, like, okay, red dragon, you're going to be on my shoulder. You'll be the first out. Then you'll say the green
you get like
one.
A wingspan thing. That'll be cool.
Yep, green one, you hide my crotch. You're green, you're like a leaf. You know, we're going through that.
Classic, the olive leaf thing. Yep.
Yellow, hug my ankle?
I guess. Like, just we'll work on it. Just do whatever. Be a floater, go wherever you want. Sorry down, for the episode title, Fire and Boobs. But, it's not great. Yes. So we have that whole thing happen. What else is the new do we got? We have a bit of Roz, who is visiting Maester Pycelle, who's yammering on about the thing about kings, blah, 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 blah. He goes on for a little bit.
Yep.
And he drops the term fire and blood. And then, after she leaves, he starts doing some stretches. And appears that a lot of his, old crotchety, forgetful old manness is fake.
Oh, right.
Because he's like, limbering up and doing some calisthenics. And then he, puts on his maester robes and he's all fine. And then he, goes to open the door and just hunches over a little bit. And, makes himself look older and more stupid than he actually is. I'm like, wait a second. Was
the
this
Maester
a thing?
Blatherer. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so, I mean, it never comes up again, as we now know that he's, clearly more with it than he appears to be.
Well, especially because he totally blabbed to Cersei about that thing.
Yeah, so, but he's apparently faking a little bit for at least this season, so, what?
Yeah.
Dropped plot line, I guess, but whatever.
But yeah, doing his routine, which is, somehow a combination of Raleigh Burke QC and Abraham Simpson. It's just, tied an onion to my belt.
Well, it was the style at the time. Very drunk.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting scene, if not a little long, but I guess that was the point.
It did make me wonder what the point was, because the point is he's not making a point, he's rambling.
Yeah.
So for them to have this kind of sting of he's actually pretending to be an old doddering fool, and then to have it not matter, kind of weird.
Yeah, I guess it was just sort of where everybody sort of stands on Joffrey now. Yeah. And that he's like, it'll be a fine king.
It'll be wonderful. But then the fact that I guess he's a minor character. You don't need to have a plot line. It never came up again for any important reason. So they just had this bit where maybe they'll use it later, and they just never did.
Yeah.
Other nudity, you see some boy toy butt from Seesaw's cousin, whatever that guy is.
Oh, that's right.
Lancel, I think.
Yeah. Oh man, what a skinny white bum.
Yep, that's what that is.
And yeah, you see a little bit of that between his legs, the cock dangling back and forth,
little swinging.
It's the one thing I remember from Butter's little rant about Game of Thrones in South Park is, it's always flaccid penises.
Yeah, and I remember hearing that. I'm like, I wonder if an erect penis moves you to like an X rating or something.
I reckon it must.
Yeah, is my only guess. Because, in all the movies I've seen, dongs, they've not been, they've always been flaccid. So I'm guessing. That makes sense.
No, I do remember something in the Zack and Miri Make a Porno special scenes where Kevin Smith was complaining about that, is just trying to find the line with, because, he could show the females full-on front-facing nudity, but, the guys that got it a little more trickier.
Yeah, nudity is weird like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? As in, because we've definitely seen I feel like we've seen far more dong than vag in this show, but we've seen far more boob than dude. So, I don't know.
Even if you count, a pair as one.
Look, I feel like someone's calculated this. We'll look it up. We won't look it up.
Grant Prusy, our statistician from the Simpsons Index. Here's a job for you.
Or the one who knocks, if you feel like it, dude. I'm not going to tell you on Twitter who got to us about the names of things. I don't want to put anyone through that. I'm not going to do it myself, is all I'm saying. Man, what else have we got? Anything else in nudity? I think
we covered it.
Yes, we must move then to violence, of which, oh my, there's just a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
So I just caught the book elastic with my pen during my...
I was wondering what happened there because I heard a thunk and it looked like you hit your hand against your sock and it's just like, that's not the right Foley for a hand hitting a sock.
No, it wasn't, but I was confused myself. Yeah, we get a little bit of this, Weird Al Yankovic-style musician singing a song about Robert Baratheon's death and how everyone in the court sucks. And then Joffrey's like, oh, that was wonderful. Tell me, what do you value, your tongue or your fingers? And he's all like, He's like, well, I can cut your neck if you like. He's like, I guess my fingers. He's like, cool. And then, so... based off of last episode, we're all like, okay, how does everyone know what Joffrey wants? Because sometimes he's like, oh, I'll teach you a lesson, and then they figure out what to do.
Yeah.
This one, at least, he's clear and direct. He's all like, okay, they said fingers or tongues. He said cut. Obviously, I went to cut out his tongue. Then one dude is just like, I have the pliers. Like, why do you just carry that?
He's learned from Joffrey. He's got a tool belt hiding under those robes. He's got all the things.
Well, I think that's also a guy who doesn't have a tongue.
Yeah.
So, because that's why he said, oh, you'll be perfect for this role or something like that.
Ah.
But it's like, are you just prepared 24/7? Or I wanted someone to be like, oh, dude, do you just carry those? He's like, yep. Yeah, at all times.
Yep. Good thing they had the fire there as well. At least that knife was sterile.
That's true. Yeah. So way to sterilize your horrible tortures of people who write silly songs.
And yeah, Joffrey walking away and not even looking at it like it's the explosion and he's an action movie star. Man, what a piece of shit.
It's that good not showing you the violence makes it worse bit. So that's real good.
Yeah, it did get me wondering though, if this was a would you rather, what do you think you'd lose, fingers or tongue?
I mean, I do like touching things. It's pretty good. No, I'd have to go tongue.
You'd get your tongue cut out?
It would suck, but I write things a lot and I enjoy it, and I play video games and I enjoy it.
Oh, true.
It would be the end of my podcasting days, but
yeah. Because... prosthetics have certainly come a long way, but individual finger
That's true, though, because prosthetics for hands have come much further than prosthetics for tongues, I assume.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never looked it up.
Yeah.
Fair question. Let's see. What else we got after? Oh, yeah, and then Joffrey continues being a dickbag by taking Sansa out and being like, look up there. It's your dad's head.
Fucking hell.
Ah, God, he's the worst. So that's Sean Bean's cameo.
Yeah. And because I saw he's the first name in the credits. He must be in this episode. Sorta.
Yeah, it was like, I remember this, him dying in the penultimate episode of this season. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's just going to be a head on a stick, but who knows?
And it's not like a Khal Drogo thing where it's like, oh, did they get a dummy in place of that? No, this is definitely not Sean Bean.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look 100% right, but oh well. Again, we're looking at 4K Blu-ray, yada yada.
And I think that's sort of something that's standing out to me from this season, and we noticed it, seasons as it gets earlier and earlier, is that the budget is definitely decreasing. And there's a few moments like that, and
yeah, they're definitely running on a not as good camera. I don't know cameras well enough to speak to it, or maybe lighting is I don't know, something is different and I can't pinpoint it exactly.
Well, one of the things I noticed especially was the scene with Catelyn and fucking, how do I still not know his Rob, thank you, where he's just chopping at the tree, taking his fucking anger out on the tree. Okay, side note, she decides to embrace the tree, to let her trauma out through, an expression of love towards the tree, and he's taking it out with violence. What did the tree ever do to you, man?
Fair.
That tree looks like it'd give a good hug.
Yeah, but I mean, then again, when Catelyn goes to Jim Jam Lannister and is all like, are your gods just? Because where were they? Where were the trees when your husband was losing his head? So some good bastard Jim Jam at this point, who knows that he's too much of a bargaining chip to be murdered right now.
Yeah.
But has a good back and forth with Catelyn. And she's like, I'll pick up this rock and smash it. And he's like, we'll get behind the ear and a few good swings. You look like a strong lady. You can do it. And it's some vintage Jim Jam.
Well, actually, just on what I was saying about the budget, that scene looked really good, and I think it's because, it was mostly shrouded in darkness, especially, when she whacks him with the rock.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's some good violence. But, it's also lit really well, and you can sort of do a lot of those stuff on a cheaper budget. But yeah, there's just something about the scene with her and Rob that just looked cheap and like soundstagey.
Yeah, even though they're clearly outside, so it can't be a soundstage. But yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't know. Yeah, just the way it was lit as well was maybe just tacky in my eyes. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's something just a little bit off of it. I'm not too sure what it is. If you out there know what it is, tweet us, I guess. I don't know.
Yep, we're on things.
You're on things. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and I realized this. They've never put enough guards on Jim Jam. He is literally by himself just tied to a post. It's like, dude, I mean, I know he's tied to a post, but come on.
Yeah.
Put a guard on him. What the fuck?
With metal shackles that, with enough friction and rubbing, he could break away.
Like a cat bell around his neck or something. Like, come on. He's a high-value prisoner.
Yeah.
Jim Jam makes a confession about pushing Bran out the window, but won't say why. So suspense. Oh yeah, and back with Joffrey, we see some Sir Stabface. I was wondering when he would start in this. Turns out season 1, he was there from the beginning. So, nice. And then Joffrey's like, oh, I've heard a king shouldn't slap his queen, so Sir Stabface, you do it for me. It's like, dude, you suck so much.
And anticipating Joffrey's needs, I guess Joffrey meant do it twice.
Yeah, oh man. He's a bastard, so yeah, probably.
Like, he
front slap and back slap,
I did say in that moment a kid shouldn't slap a queen. If I said slaps, that meant two.
Yes, it's forget it. We'll workshop this in rehearsal later. And then Sansa's a good tense moment of at first I thought, oh, is she going to think about jumping? And so I think about pushing Joffrey, and then the Hound steps in. He's like, yeah, you don't want to do that. They'll boil you in acid.
Yeah,
is the subtext what he says? Just says, let me just wipe your mouth there, my lady. And she goes to give his handkerchief back. He's like, you're going to need that. It's like, ooh, damn.
Yeah, and the Hound and also everybody else in this episode is just looking really fucking terrible. It's like Sansa as well has just looked like she's been crying for days and got punched square in the middle of the eyes. And the Hound as well, we were saying that his face got a lot more consistent after season 2.
Yeah.
This one, his ear is so prominent and fucked up.
Yeah, that one's weird. But I'll tell you who does look good. Sam from another series, his teeth are fine.
Yeah.
I
guess they got all fucked up and dirty from, the days and days and days of walking the mountains.
Maybe, or they were just like, hey, guess what? In this season, we have the budget to fuck your teeth up. It's like, yay? And then later on, they're like, well, we've decided you're a biggish part of this show than we realized, so we're going to unfuck your teeth. I guess. And also, I've renamed John Bum Shavy to John Bum Babyface. I was trying to figure out a smooth as a baby's bottom face, and it didn't work. I'm not happy with it either.
Baby Snow Burgess.
But he's just so young. You want to grab his cheeks and be like, yeah. It's adorable. Let's see. Do I have anything else for violence? I must, because there's loads of it in this one.
Yeah, I stopped drawing these because pretty much every scene had it.
Yep. Pillow death, we covered that. Pyre-mancy, I wrote down. And I do kind of like... this wasn't the intent, but this was me making jokes in my head when Daenerys is walking towards the pyre and the fires are getting to her, and it kind of shows the sorceress on fire, and it's like, here's an example of how a person is supposed to be burning, but Dan Brady isn't burning. What's up with that? I know that's not what you're doing, show, but that's where my brain went.
Yeah.
Here's one we prepared earlier, but this one, what? Not burning? Hell.
And this episode is showing her braids being a reflection of her confidence as well, that it's all frazzled in the start and during the death of Carl and everything like that, but when it's time to make the rousing speech, it's tight, it's looking nice. She's clearly spent hours on it.
Oh yeah, she was ready to walk into that fire. She knew what she was doing. It worked out well.
And even after the fire, they're looking a bit frazzled, but still.
Yeah, for someone who's been crouching in ashes all night.
Yeah.
Doing well there on the hair department. Well, that covers those. Let's just roll through some notes. Let's see. Whole thing starts with a bloody sword. I didn't really have a point to that. I just mentioned it. But then we meet a cool, Night Watch guy who's saving Arya, who clearly dyed his hair while he was in King's Landing because he's looking far younger and far, more brown-haired than he is later.
Oh, everyone, I feel had a different haircut. I wouldn't have been surprised if there was, a bigger season break between 1 and 2, or if they just... liked their character models more after that or something like that.
Yeah, it might have been a bigger break. So you'd imagine the budget would have been difficult. They might have only got greenlit, halfway through or even 2/3 for the next season. Who knows? Whereas after that, they would have been greenlit 3-4 more seasons.
That's it. But yeah, Charles Dance had way less hair in the seasons ongoing, and then Peter Dinklage just looks so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true he doesn't have that scar down his face, but even then, that scar doesn't count. But yeah, he cuts her hair, and that's the origin of hair being cut. And
I'm not a boy. Oh, so you're a stupid boy then. I liked that.
Yeah, he's like, you're not getting this. You're a boy. Get it? Because no one's going to be looking for a boy called Harry.
Yeah, and so, later on, he puts that, runs down all the info and where they're going and everything. And we get probably the first appearance of Hot Pie. Yeah, and he's a bully.
And he's a dickhead. I wrote that down as well. Like, what? Where's my sweet Hot Pie?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is this dickweed? Yeah. It's
just picking on poor little Harry.
Yeah, and then Sweaty Gendry shows up and saves the day. Yeah, but that's that bit. And we had that kid who gets stabbed in the neck later is there. So that's the introduction for all of them. I think Gendry shows up earlier, though. I think, if I remember correctly. We'll find out. Usha is carrying Bran around before Hodor did. And little detail I like, Bran is wearing a little fish pendant on his cloak, which I'm pretty sure is his mother's family symbol, the Tully symbol. So I'm like, that's a nice little detail.
Oh, okay.
He's just taken after his mama.
He's not into Jesus.
I guess not. I just got Jesus. So, yeah, I'm stupid. Bit of a confusing bit, though, because, they have this whole... We see a bit of Bran's dream with the three-eyed raven taking him down to the crypt where he sees his father, foreshadowing, the death of his father. But Rickon is there as well, and he's like, no, I saw Dad come down. He's like, where? When did you see that? Oh, last night, in my dreams. Like, when are you both having psychic premonitions? It's like, yes, I'm the four-eyed raven. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Someone else comes down. Oh, I saw a five-eyed raven.
One-eyed raven. God damn it. How many? Look, obviously the gods are just hedging their bets and getting as many eyed ravens as they possibly can and just seeing who works out.
Yeah, poor Osha having to deal with this fucking nonsense.
Yeah, although a nice little bit from Maester Carl Baron, who, again, with nothing but a look and just reaching out, he just says, oh, Bran. And he's just reading a scroll and you know what it is, and that's it. And it's like, nice work there, Maester Carl Baron.
Yeah.
But find out his name. He's quite good.
It's Maester Paul Kelly.
Ah, that's right. Carl Baron, Paul Kelly.
Yep. Cersei squeeze floppy cock bum. We already covered that. The moment where
squeeze floppy cock bum is good.
The moment where they're all pledging to Rob as well.
Yeah.
This is just like such an "Oh, Captain, my Captain" moment.
It was like, oh yeah, Stannis Baratheon sucks and Renly Baratheon sucks. Ah, you're the only king for me.
Yeah.
Although I did love the line, they're stupid and their gods are wrong.
Yeah. And Theon's like, I'm here too. Oh, Captain, my Captain.
And I'm going to say more things about your swords mine from this day to the end of my days. I mean it more.
Yeah. I wish I could come up with a pun for that. The best I had was Dead Poet Sword Society.
Well, it's rough, but it works.
Not episode title worthy, but I
feel like titles could be tough on this one, other than maybe fuck Baratheons.
Yeah. Big throwback to season 1 of Thrones of Game. I like that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we're coming to it, so yeah. Tywin and Tyrion have a nice little scene. I didn't have any notes on it. It was just nice.
Yeah, it's sort of weird how into Tyrion he is. That's not the right word. It's like all of a sudden Tyrion's his son, and he's fit to be the hand and all this sort of shit. Whereas not too many episodes later is like, you suck, you killed your mother, and you're terrible.
But even then, he has always been like, look, you're part of this family, whether I like you or not. And make no mistake, I don't like you.
Yeah.
However, you have the name, and therefore there are certain expectations, and you'll always have a position of prestige. And obviously, it is the moment where he recognizes he'll be good at it.
Yeah.
So that's, nice. I even like when, Tyrion comes back and sits down and reaches for the wine, and he stops him, but then he pours it for him.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're not going to pour it for yourself. You're going to be offered it like a gentleman.
I actually did like Tyrion as well, just pushing his wine glass during the meeting, off the table and just going, you have more chance of getting wine in that cup than negotiating now that, Joffrey has killed that guy.
Yep, Ned Stark, or Eddard Stark, because, fuck names.
Okay.
Yeah, just on Dan Brady as well. There's a real sliding scale of misery here because she wakes up and she's all like, "Where's my son?" And Jorah's like,
"Oh, that's right.
Oh, well, didn't survive." And then the sorceress comes in who is acting as like midwife or something. He's like, "Yep, no, it was hideously deformed and had scales and wings. And when I touched it, its skin melted and there were worms." And Jorah's like, "Bitch, shut up, Jesus." Yeah. But then she has the whole point of, but this was the spell we had to do to get to have Khal Drogo continue to live. And she's like, well, let me see Drogo then. And it's like, ooh, that's also awkward. But yeah, it's again,
So did I know that Daenerys had a son or was pregnant or any of this?
Nope.
Ah,
Yeah, things you will find out later.
wow, brutal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like it's just so depressing for her at this moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was all part of why she was my MVP this episode. Like,
For sure.
It's a hard thing to convey that sort of devastation, and yeah, it must be very emotionally taxing for an actor. And yeah, Emilia Clarke fucking nailed it.
Yeah, and just props to the lady playing the sorceress as well, where she's all like, "But what did you do all this? I saved you." And she's like, "Oh, did you? Because 3 of your Dothraki dudes raped me before you got to me."
Yeah.
And then when I walked outside, there was just a pile of heads, and I was like, "Oh, there's the head of the baker I bought my bread from, and there's the head of the boy I cured of the pox 3 weeks ago." And it's like, so what did you save exactly? And it has a really good line of, "Look at your Carl over there and tell me what life is like without the rest of it." And it's like, damn.
Yeah.
So it was heavy. It was a good bit. Let's see. John Bum Shovey tries to leave the Night's Watch, and Sam is like, "No, you can't. Get out of my..."
He's so whiny and dumb in this moment.
There's literally a bit like this from Harry Potter.
Yeah. But he's like fully wobbling his jazz and like,
Come on, you can't.
I will stand, I won't let you.
He stands in front of it and even rides into him. It's like,
Yeah.
"Aw, good for you, Sam." They chase after him. It's really nice. And then I do like that, John ducks under that stick, the branch.
The
is sticking
ultra
out.
convenient tree branch.
Yeah, and you're like, well, someone's getting hit by that. Of course, it's Sam. And he has a pratfall. I think in the back we hear this, "Oh, did we catch him?"
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, Sam from another series. You're adorable."
Almost got my MVP just because it's a nice scene between Tyrion and Shay. These actors actually really worked well together. And just, that whole thing is like, my father's always been a cunt. It's just like, Game of Thrones are pretty loosey-goosey with their fucks and whatever, but they're cunts,
Yeah,
man, they're so purposeful.
They choose their battles there.
Power cunts.
Title.
My only other note is just the leader of the Night's Watch going, "Ham, at least serve me some beer." And I'm like, Jesus, privilege much?
Yeah.
Love to have a ham and beer breakfast.
That does sound good. Very German. Let's see. I think my only notes remaining when Catelyn's talking to Rob, he's like, "Oh, kill them all." And it's like, "Shh, no, they have your sisters. We'll get your sisters, then we'll kill them all." And what was my last bit here? Oh, yeah, there's a bit where Dan Brady's making a big impassioned speech, but she's doing it in whatever, like, the English version of English is. So we're going to call that common, just from D&D. And it's like, I'm pretty sure these people don't speak that. And they're all just standing around being like, what the fuck is she saying? She usually gives her speeches in Dothraki.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a bit like, I know you guys know this because you do it later, but I do like she has a moment of, "You're all free, you may go as you like, and if you want to leave, you can, but if you want to stay," and a bunch of people are already leaving.
Yeah.
And then later on, they're going to be like, "She did what? She walked into a fire and has dragons!" Oh my God, why did we leave?
And it's especially because every single one of her other rousing speeches works. And like this one that she's not only getting undermined by the heckler, but also, has to like compose herself a little when, people did walk away. Stay strong, Daenerys. Stay strong.
Yeah.
Remember the script.
Yeah, we had to assume that was going to happen. Okay.
Jorah, next card.
Line. But I think that is all my notes.
I will say it was actually a bit clunky where he's like, doing the leader of the Night's Watch is doing the whole rousing Jon Snow, and what kind of man are you? We're going to charge into battle, and they're doing the whole thing where it's like overlaying that conversation with the charge the next morning, which is very good. But it did feel like the episode ended twice because of that.
Yeah, that's usually something you do to wrap. I mean, it was wrapping up his story for this episode, but it did feel closing.
Because I think one of my criticisms about this episode is that there is too many scene changes. There's like fucking 20.
Yeah.
Like, it was way more than usual. And I felt like that would have been like a good mid-climax.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a particular reason it needed to be at the end. Because, it sort of feels like you hit this same sort of wave twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a row.
That's fair. I think they just had so many lines to wrap up. But they could have put it a little bit earlier so this isn't the ending, but this is the ending of this part.
Yeah.
And now we'll go to Dan Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. All right. Well, if that puts me out of notes and that puts you out of notes, we must ask our final question. How exactly did we get here?
Well, on the next episode of Game of Thrones is called Baelor. So that guy, Baelor, Baelor.
Right.
So this is just, fancy ye olde times Bay. I don't know.
Sorry.
I just don't have a lot to go off with that.
Yeah, no, look, I know the big sept that blows up is called the Sept of Baelor. I'd have nothing else to go on.
Yeah.
So, It'll be him walking up going, I just built this real nice scepter. I hope no one blows it up one day. Anyway, bye-bye.
Yep.
The end.
That's what you can look forward to. And also, yeah, of course, if you want to check out more of our stuff, check out patreon.com/SideQuest Studios, your home for The Simpsons Index, Pulp Fury Radio, Thrones of Game.
And everywhere you can hear our voices.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll find all that out next time. But until then, I've been BT Calloway. That's been Elliot Jay O'Neill.
Thank you for starting the final season of Thrones of Game. Goodbye!
And for now, our watch is ended.
Sorry, did you plan on doing another very sexy Patreon ad on this episode?
I don't plan these things, man.
It fucking sounded exactly like a Pornhub live ad.
I know, that was kind of what I was going for.
That was very good.